Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Welcome again to your Monday 15-minute podcast. Today we're going to be starting a new series of teaching which I titled Authority of the Believer. This is the healing edition of Authority of the Believer. Now I'm going to be taking my text from the book of Mark, chapter 5, verses 1 to 13. Very long passage. You see, this is quite very important to you because if you don't understand your authority as a believer, then you will not be able to enjoy divine healing. Now let's take our text from Mark 5, 1 to 13. It's a story in the scriptures that I want us to really get, and then we'll be able to picture how we need to walk in our authority, how not to be careless with our authority as a believer. And they came over onto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. A man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains. Why? Because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. Wow. But when he saw Jesus afar off, he ran and worshipped him, and cried with a loud voice and said, "What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, that thou torment me not. I adjure thee by God, that thou torment me not." Verse 8. Now, look at that. He said that thou torment me not. But if you look at verse 5 says, and always night and day he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. Now, which torment passes that one? Now, that's to show you that the man who is crying and cutting himself in the tomb, in the tombs, was different from a man who was speaking to Jesus in verse 7. They are two different human beings. And cried with a loud voice and said, "What have I to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by God, that thou torment me not." Of course, the man couldn't have known who Jesus is, the real owner of the body. That's to show there is another tenant inside the body that is talking. Verse 8, for he said unto him, for Jesus said, in other words, Jesus, verse 8 has happened before verse 7. For he said unto him, he said, "Come out of the man. Come out of the man. Come out of the man." So you see, there are two different people. Come out of the man. If you are coming out of a house, you and the house cannot be the same thing. So when Jesus said, "Come out of the man," it means that Jesus was addressing a different person from the man. Okay. "Thou unclean spirit." And he asked him, "What is thy name?" And he answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many." Wow. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now look at that verse 10. You know, I'm talking about the authority of the believer. The authority of the believer. Actually, this series is about how you can misuse your authority. In the next set of podcasts, apart from this one now, I'm going to be talking about you have authority. I will establish that you already have an authority. But here, I'm talking about the healing edition of it, to show you how believers sometimes misuse their authority without them knowing. Okay, so that's why I'm bringing all these things to you. For he said unto him, that Jesus said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. And brother, that's authority talking there. And he besought him much that he will not send them away out of the country. Look at that word, besought, besought, besought. When you besought something, you are expecting a response. Okay. Now, there was there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding. Near to the mountain, a great herd of swine feeding. Okay, near there. And all the devil besought him, saying, send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. Did you see that? Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them. Now, meaning that they don't have legal right to occupy the swine except somebody give them the authority to do it. Let's continue. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave. Jesus gave them leave. Okay. And the unclean spirit went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. The same way that man was behaving is the same way these animals also behave. Did you see that? Sometimes you discover that there's a similarity between sickness. You know why? Because it is the same devil that is responsible for them all. It's the same devil. It's not too different. It's the same devil that is responsible for malaria. It's the same devil that is responsible for cancer. They are similar. They have what they do. That is their duty. Okay. And forthwith Jesus gave them leave, and the unclean spirit went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. There were about 2,000. Wow. And were choked in the sea. Okay. Let me start this way. How often have you heard that the devil is the one that puts sickness on the believer? How often have you heard that? And maybe you are even drawing your reference from a passage like Luke 13:16, where the Bible said, and ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan had bound, lo, these 18 years, be loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day. Now that was even Jesus talking. Whom Satan had bound. Okay, yet Satan might have bound or afflicted the believer with sickness of any form, according to Jesus, but not without their authority. Taking reference from a passage of the scriptures, like that Luke 5:1-13, that we have just read. Luke 5:1-13 that we have just read. Now, do you know that the devil did not have authority to possess the swine until Jesus gave them the authority to do so? They did not have the authority to do that until Jesus gave them the authority to do so. Now, they asked for his permission to possess the swine. To possess the swine in that Mark 5:12-13. I'm going to read from NIV. He said, the demons begged Jesus. I love this. I love this. The demons begged Jesus, send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them. Allow us to go into them. He gave them permission. And the devil and the evil spirit came out and went into the pigs. They had about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Now, if the devil has the authority on his own to bound the believer with sickness, to bound the believer with the sick, to bound the believer with sickness, why didn't he have the authority on his own to possess the swine and have to ask for permission from Christ to do it in that Mark 5:12-13? Why did he have to do that? Now listen to this. Suppose Jesus had said no to their request. What do you think will have happened to the swine? Nothing will happen to the swine. They wouldn't have been demon possessed by the devil and choked to death by the devils. The devil has no authority of his own to possess even a swine. Talk more of the believer. Talk more of the believer. Now, this is what you need to capture. I know we have often heard it. Like I said, if you read from that Luke 13:16, this is from the mouth of Jesus. This is from the mouth of Jesus. And ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham? Now, when you talk about the daughter of Abraham, you're talking about somebody who have a covenant with God. Somebody who have a covenant with God. So don't get that. Get that very right. Somebody who has a covenant with God, whom Satan had bound. Satan had bound. These 18 years, Satan had bound. This Satan has bound. So listen to this. It is possible for devil to bound a believer with sickness. It is possible. It is possible. It is possible. But listen to this. Not without your authority. Not without your authority. Now that's why I'm going to be teaching. You see, on Sunday, because we formatted our laptop, so we formatted it, so we're trying to renew it. So we're trying to install some apps back. And then we're supposed to log into my Gmail. Now, they now sent a text to me on my Gmail that, have you just logged into your Gmail in Nigeria, in Abuja, at so and so time? Now, do you know what? When I look at it, I saw two statements. Yes, it is me. So I press on that subject. Yes, it is me. But do you know what? If I don't understand what I'm doing, and it is a hacker that is trying to hack into my phone, and I went and pressed, yes, it is me, my phone has been hacked. Sorry, my laptop, my Gmail has been hacked. And then they begin to do all manner of things, post pornography film, post all manner of things, and people will be wondering, is it Reverend David Noga now that is watching pornography? It is not me, it's the hacker. Now listen to this. A believer can give the devil a permission to possess his house. And the devil will begin to use him to do what we read in our text. Use him to cut himself, use him to break chain, use him to misbehave, use him to do this. Have you seen people who are sick? And they are scratching their body and they are crying and they are this thing. But do you know what? If the devil could not possess the swines or the pigs, as we saw in that Mark 5:12-13 in NIV, if they couldn't, they don't have the permission to do it until they got a permission from Jesus. Do you know what that simply means? What that simply means is this: the devil cannot inflict you with sickness without your permission. Do you know what? I just ran out of time now. But on Wednesday, can you see that it's very sweet? On Wednesday, we will continue just from that same Mark 12 to 13. From here, I want to tell you that Jesus Christ is Lord. I will see you in our Wednesday 15 minutes podcast.